So a little while back we had Leigh on the program answering questions about her experiences as a student in Korea. If you didn't see that TLDR, you can check it out here. So Leigh is back and we're here to pick her brain about student housing options.
Oh boy!
Doesn't that sound exciting?
That sounds so exciting.
I know.
For those of you that don't know, I am intern Leigh and I've been living in Korea for about 2.5 years and I've been a student the whole time I have been here.
You're smart. You should join the team.
That sounds like fun. Can I do that?
I think so. We should wear matching hats.
Let's do that.
Okay, so first question I have for you. When you first came to live in Korea, were you applying for a university?
I did a language program, which is not exactly in a university, it's a language center affiliated with the university. So I wasn't actually a direct enrolled student and I wasn't an exchange student, which meant that I came to Korea without knowing where I was gonna live.
So I thought that if you come to Korea as a language exchange student, you automatically were like in a university and you were like getting a dorm.
Some of them do have dorm options for language exchange students, but the problem is that the waiting lists for dorms are really, really long. Like 9 months long, 9 months to a year.
So you're like, my program's finished, and they're like, congratulations, you can use our dorm.
That's exactly what happened to me. In fact, not a lot of language programs even offer dorm accommodations for their students. Some do, but some don't.
How would you get a dorm option then if you're coming to Korea? What program would you be in?
Foreign students that come usually through exchange programs or as direct enrolls in actual Korean universities, they have priority in the dorms because you're from out of the country.
Gotcha.
So it's very, very likely that you will get a place in a Korean dorm.
So then have you ever lived in a dorm on a Korean campus?
Yes, I have.
Was dorm like super awesome, party time, adventurous?
No.
Oh.
It was exciting for me because when I was in university back in the States, I actually never lived in a dorm.
Neither did I.
I know.
I lived with my parents in the basement.
Oh, I lived in an apartment. The dorms are a little bit different than what they are in the US.
Explain.
For starters, most of the dorms are actually 4 students to a single room. Also, there's a lot of rules in dorms that I really didn't like.
Okay, such as?
So dorms in the US usually don't have curfews. I'm sure some of them do, and the dorms in Korea, almost all of them have curfews.
You know what? I knew that. I knew that.
I didn't know that till I lived in a dorm.
Well, I knew that because I ran into some exchange students and they'd be like, I gotta head back because I'll be locked out of my dorm. And I'm like, it's 11:30. Like at midnight, like even on the weekends?
Yeah, and
really?
And you have to sign out to stay out of the dorm late or to stay overnight. So if you want to go home and stay with your family for a weekend, you have to sign up for permission to do that ahead of time and you only get a certain number of times a week.
So then what happens if it's your birthday weekend and you want to go visit your friend in another city in Korea and you want to like party with them? Are you allowed to actually stay out past curfew?
You are, but you gotta sign up for that.
And so what happens if you don't sign up?
You lose points.
What happens if you lose points?
You get evicted.
And then Gryffindor's like 3 points minus from. Oh wait, you get evicted. That's worse than Hogwarts. Wait a second.
Most dorms have like a 10-point system.
Okay.
So you can earn points for good things like going to meetings.
Oh, okay, so this is Hogwarts. I'm sorry.
Yes, house points.
Okay, they're called house points?
Yeah, they are. And you lose points for things like coming back after curfew and like making the security guard, like guilt tripping him into letting you in.
So you have a security guard?
Oh yeah, you have cards and cameras and security guards and everything. And so they monitor all that stuff.
Okay.
You're definitely not allowed to have guests in the dorm of any gender, same gender, different gender, doesn't matter.
What about your mom and dad?
Nope. What? Move-in day only. I was actually really surprised. The first Korean dorm I was in, there was not even a space for like meeting other students that were in the dorm. So if you have a group project, there was like nowhere for you to go. There's 2 or 3 spaces, but all the corners of the dorm are just crowded with Korean people on the phone talking to their boyfriends. There's nowhere for you to meet.
If only there was a room of requirement available.
No, that would have been the best.
Okay, so then if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend in Korea, you cannot have sexy times with them in your dorm.
No, not gonna happen.
So parents watching this video are like, yay, I'm sending my kids to a dorm in university.
I actually think that's why they have so many rules about all that kind of stuff. Instead of an RA system there, you have dorm rules that help make sure that your kid doesn't go super hog wild.
So can you bring like alcohol back to your room?
Alcohol's not allowed.
Do they check your bags?
Yes.
Really?
They check for cleanliness as well.
So they just like kick in the door, they're like, citizens arrest! And they like check your room to see if there's like bottles of soju and like, these underpants haven't been cleaned in a week! Come on, Leigh!
People do it.
Okay, so they do.
People do it, and if you're caught, you lose points.
Okay.
There's CCTV everywhere.
Really? So do you like walk in with a bottle of soju and it's like So then essentially all the old techniques, not that I'm giving you guys ideas here, but those techniques of like taking an orange juice bottle and like dumping about half of it and filling it with vodka and being like, it's orange juice. That's how you would have to smuggle something.
But where are you gonna drink it? There's no co-ed spaces, man.
You're gonna drink it in your room.
Alone, sad. It's a horrible plan.
Okay, are there any more things that can cause you to lose points? Because right now dorm life is sounding very like dry.
I know. You're actually not supposed to have food either.
Is there like a mini fridge in your dorm?
Some of them do. I had a friend that stayed at the Iwa graduate dorm and they didn't have curfews and they had a kitchen facility and everything. It was right there. But my dorm, you were only supposed to have snacks. Like, there are signs everywhere that's like, no food!
So you can't have like a kettle in your room?
No hot plates, no microwave, no mini fridges. There was nothing.
So then did you have an area where you could cook something? Like you go down the hallway and... Oh.
They had a tiny corner with like a chonsuki, like a hot water dispenser, and that was it. So you would go and you could like, I have tea.
And you pour vodka in because you can't eat anything. Some dorms might have different rules, but frankly, a lot of people that I met on the streets in Korea, most people complained to me about the curfew, about not having people in the room. I know one person I met said that there was a meeting area in their university where you came downstairs and you had to sign in people. I said it was like a prison meeting.
What is this? Yeah, I was gonna say, what is this?
Exactly! So you'd go downstairs and be like, hello, boyfriend.
I put some pattern in the bra for you. Some patterns.
They like give you a cake,
cigarettes.
And on the inside of the cake, it's like a vodka bottle, and then like ramen that's been pre-cooked for them. Like,
what is this?
Yeah, so I guess it seems like it's pretty tough to live on dorm.
It does. It seems like all the undergraduate dorms are like that.
So then, where do you eat, by the way, if you don't eat in your room?
There's a cafeteria connected to most of those kinds of dorms.
Is this a Korean university cafeteria?
Yes.
I've eaten at those before.
Oh man, they're pretty special.
Special, like good or bad? What would you say is one big pro of living on dorms?
They're so cheap.
Cheap?
And you're surrounded by other Korean students.
Oh.
And you have the advantage of being able to roll out of bed and walk 10 minutes to class, no problem.
And the big cons would be?
Lots of rules.
Think Hogwarts, that's all we need to do. There's wizards everywhere with their CCTV watching everything you do.
Snape is always around the corner. He's gonna catch you.
That's right.
He's gonna report you.
And he's gonna go 5 points from Gryffindor.
Detention! Is that your Snape face?
Yes. Okay, so let's say you do not get an on-campus dorm.
Yes.
What are your other options then?
Well, when I first came here, I lived in what's called a Goshuwon, and it's like a dorm-style living, but it's just cheap housing, and it's off-campus.
A while ago, we did a couple TLDRs on housing in Korea.
Yes.
And we talked a lot about things like key money, which if you don't know what we're talking about, you should check out the TLDRs that we were talking about. So the Goshuwon does not have things like key money, right?
No, most of them do not.
Okay.
And there's two main styles. Some of them have bathrooms that are inside the room, like really small toilet shower facilities, and some of them have shared toilet shower facilities.
Would it be cheaper if it's a shared one?
Absolutely.
Okay. So this is privately run. This isn't associated with university.
No, not at all.
Okay, but it's usually, like, majority of the time it's students because it's cheap.
Yes.
Gotcha.
It's generally students.
Okay, but you could have like some dirty, pervy student that shares a shower with you who like spits in it and you're like...
We had somebody steal all of our shower stuff. That was a thing in the first Goshuwon I lived in. It was clean and it was really nice, and you'll notice there's a huge range and quality of Goshuwons. But I was in a very, very nice one, and somebody was a klepto and just kept stealing like weird shower stuff. Like I had a salt scrub, they stole the salt scrub. They stole my Italy towel, which is what you used to get like dead skin out.
We don't steal someone else's, that's gross.
Why do you want somebody else's Italy towel? That
because they're
makes no
cloning
sense.
you. Lee, they're cloning you. It's obvious as to what it is. They gathered all your skin cells and they're like forming a skin cell Lee.
Puts the lotion on the skin.
Okay, so it sounds like a pretty good deal if it's not that expensive.
Yeah. So dorms are usually cheaper because they're shared facilities, whereas most Goshuwons are just single rooms. You don't have roommates.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a pro then if you're looking for like privacy and that kind of stuff. If you, oh boy, sex times with your studying book and vodka tea.
Except the problem is that the walls are really, really thin, so if you do have sexy times, everybody can hear it.
So then you leave and everyone's in the hallway going like, high-fiving you?
Yeah. I lived next to this lady that liked to sing in the morning. She was really nice, but she would sing every morning. She'd wake up at 5 and she'd be like, I wanna sleep!
You're like, I guess it's 5. In a nutshell, you're applying for university, you're allowed to live in dorm because maybe you're at the top of that list, you got it, you're coming to Korea, you know where your dorm is. But if you're gonna stay at a Goshuwon, then you can't buy it in advance, right? So you have to come here and find it, right?
Yeah, maybe you could find some websites of some of them online and maybe call and arrange something, but you wouldn't want to.
No, you really want to see it in person.
You need to put your eyeball on that room.
Okay, so let's give people some practical advice that if they're not being able to stay in a dorm, first thing I would suggest off the get-go is to book a guest house.
Yes.
That way, like, you think about the neighborhood you might want to go into, book the guest house, and then you can start searching for a permanent place to live, right?
Especially if you've never been here before and you've never seen your school, I would really recommend that.
How did you find this place? Did you like talk to other students on campus? Did you get advice? What did you do?
There were a lot of places around campus because I was in a student neighborhood, and my classmates kept saying, don't stay here, it's dirty. Don't stay here, it's too expensive. Don't stay here, it's really, really far away. But I actually found my place because I went to my school dorm and I said, do you have any recommendations of Goshuwons that are really, really nice?
Okay.
So they sent me me a list, and I picked the most expensive one. I figured the expensive ones would be the cleaner ones.
Right. Is that correct?
It was correct. The benefit of a Goshiwon is that you don't need any deposit money at all, and you can get them in pretty much any neighborhood you want.
And you have your own kitchen.
You have your own kitchen. You can cook if you want to. So you can really live there and study and sleep there on a budget.
Okay, so if you need to be more independent, you don't want to like deal with all these rules and stuff like that, then you're gonna go for a Goshiwon.
Yes. There's actually another housing option that I don't think we really have time to talk about here. It's called a Hasuk-tip. It's very similar to a homestay. I guess we'll talk a little bit more about that in the blog
post. Yeah. Also, because there's so much to talk about right now, Lee's actually gonna put a lot more details into the blog post, such as
what the cheapest neighborhoods in Seoul are, some tips about what you should be looking for when you're trying to find those places, and other housing options.
Okay, so I know a lot of you guys plan on moving to Korea for school, and a lot of you are already living in Korea for school. So I think this is an awesome opportunity to go to the comment section and leave advice to other people, whether you're already here and you want to share your advice about good and bad experiences, or if you've got questions, and let's all help each other out and answer them. So that's it for this week's TLDR. Last week we talked about people living with their parents and how long they stay, and we got some interesting comments from you guys. Omnia Kadora was saying that Arab parents never kick you out of the house. That's pretty cool. She also said that even if you move out, they don't usually want you to move out, but if they do, they still support you financially, which sounds
pretty good.
Pretty sweet as well. And she said that usually they actually own their house, so there's no such thing as like under my house when we're paying rules, like they pay for everything anyways.
Awesome. And now, a poem from Henry. Dad wants me out, Mom wants me to stay. I don't have money, so life is going Mama's way.
Secrecy. From Finland. It's an awesome name.
That's an awesome name.
I feel so Slytherin right there. I'm like, secrecy. They said that life in Finland is like the complete opposite. People usually move out as soon as possible, even when they're 15 or 16. She said by like 20 or 25, nobody lives with their parents anymore because university's free. And they said that you move out and then you get like campus housing, and so you're like, why not? And the government pays for that. And
let's move to Finland.
You get a student allowance too.
You get a student allowance?
Yeah.
You told us the secret of Finland.
You said, let's move to Finland. Finland's like, we don't want you. And we're like, oh, guess we'll go back to Korea then. There are Doshiwons. Doshiwon's not right.
Goshiwon.
Doshirak is a boxing shake-up, and I keep wanting to call it a...
Goshiwon!
Awesome, Goshiwon. I will never forget it now.